Hi guys, so today will be my first RJ question. So the question will be, why do we need to coach innovatively? So firstly, as a coach for future generations, we are constantly going through a phase of change in which the tactics of a sport could suddenly change overnight, leading to a change in what would be known as the meta. These new tactics are not created by robots, but by other coaches such as me, so that we are able to think outside the box, constantly thinking of new ways to ensure that the players are improving. So being an innovative coach is not only about coming up with new tactics for the players to use, but also allowing for training sessions to not always be the same, with the same drills being carried out. So such as having new and improved drills can be taught up in order to keep the players engaged or being able to meet the objectives of the training session itself. This can be like playing games to having modified games with certain special rules so that they are able to hit the goal. So for example, if you want to train on possession, we can create a for floorball, we can have a rule in which you must have a minimum of like 5 to 10 passes before they are allowed to score a goal. So that will train them to keep possession of the ball so that they can try to create chances to score a goal. So by keeping our players engaged through new drills, they will be able to understand the different ways to be able to improve from these various methods. So by having new drills, they are constantly going through the motion of doing the same thing over and over again. So having new drills will allow them to remember better why we do certain things. So like why we keep possession of the ball. So when it comes to game time, if they are facing against a team that is very aggressive, wants to keep charging at them for possession, so we who have trained on our possession taking on our possession holding will be able to stop them from being so aggressive and to make them play our game instead of having to play their game. So being an innovative coach, we can always like normally just tell them what to do and they'll probably follow it, but when it's time to go into game, it's always a different scenario because the opponents we are facing are not us. We don't know what they are thinking, so it can be very unpredictable. So we want to be able to adapt to what is going on during the game. We have to be constantly thinking, okay, so they are pushing up a lot, we have managed to stop them, what now, because we're just keeping possession, but their defending is also quite good. So then we have to start thinking on like other ways to help our players to get past the opponents. We must always be thinking and adapting to the situation that is presented to us. Okay, so in addition to making the drills more fun, by allowing for various drills to happen instead of doing the similar drills, they are able to remember it well. As such, they are able to keep in mind what they have learned during our training session, so that instead of only having to rely on what we as the coaches tell them to do during game time, or they can also use what they learned during training session, because it's not every time that we're going to be telling them what to do during game time. It's always more of what they do, because we can always tell them but they may not do it. But sometimes when they decide to do things on their own, it might work because they are actually applying what we have learned during game time. Being innovative coach, it might be unorthodox because some of the tactics or like drills that we do is not of the norm. It's always created by us. It's new. It's may not be tested before, so we do not know whether it will work. But it's always a risk. But then the outcome could be good because we as coaches, even though it may be weird at first, as long as we know that that this new thing is able to hit the objective of the training session and allow them to improve, then we have definitely met the criteria of of that objective of why we even created that certain new drill to use. So then course, by keeping the players engaged, then we'll have a more fun training session, cause training sessions can't always be boring and doing the same drills over and over again. So in conclusion, by having more drills, newer drills, and ensuring that our players are always engaged, they will be able to improve over time, and it's not just will be boring to them, but something they can look forward to every time coming to a training session, wanting to learn something new and improving themselves. Yeah, so that's all for my first question. Thank you for listening to me.